Alright, this is an attempt to start my stream over again because I completely messed it up earlier. So if you were in the stream, I apologize. I didn't see anybody in chat. So I'm going to be starting from scratch. I fiddled with my screen settings and you guys are basically looking at nothing. So if you were watching, I apologize. If you weren't, and this is the first time you've seen this video, well, we can just start over. So what I was doing was I was checking out the AI plugin, and look at that. Something is killing my site. That's interesting. So this is my local WordPress site. And in it I have the, so see there it's running. In it I have the Anthropic and OpenAI connectors. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use the image generation functionality that OpenAI provides. So I'm going into a post, selecting an image, saying generate an image, and I'm saying a custom WordPress waipu. Is that how you spell waipu? I can't remember. Just check it. Yep, waipu. In the style of an AI agent. And I click generate. Now, what happens is this sits here for a while. And then eventually I get a JSON response error. Trying to see if that gets picked up in the console. Probably won't because I didn't start the console before I did this. Okay. Error. There. Okay. So image generation is getting an error. The response is not found in JSON. And then if I go back to Studio, my site has died. So I have a feeling this is related to the AI client timeout. It's probably about 60 seconds. This is actually something that I discovered in my workshop. So I'm going to see if increasing that makes a difference. Because what's interesting is nothing is being logged to the debug log. So there's no errors being logged. Let's just check something here. Oh, wait. Part of the problem there is Studio being Studio. Let's just see. Yeah. This hasn't worked properly. Okay. I'm going to close this. Either this is a problem with my... Okay, so let's make that... Sure. So this is something that I picked up about Studio a while ago, is if you don't do this inside of Studio, it can sometimes give you trouble. So, I'm going to enable debugging. So enable debug log. Save. Okay, and then let's run that again, see. Okay, let's go back there, post, no title. Let's try and run this again. The other thing this is telling me, if I look at my billing, So it is actually using credits. So it's 4:45. It was 4 something earlier. Oh, no, it's not showing monthly billing. Stupid thing. Anyway, but I can watch the credits. Drop off. Let's go to the usage page. Yeah, so today we've spent 12 cents. Okay, cool. For those 2 requests, that's fine. I can keep wasting that. Not really, but it's not major. Okay, so if I trigger this and I'm now enable debugging and I generate, I want to see what gets written to the debug log, if anything. Okay, let's see if anything gets written today. No, nothing gets written. All right, I'm pretty sure this is a timeout issue. So in my workshop demo, I actually have some steps on how to increase the timeouts. I'm going to do that quickly. So it's this and this. Okay, so let's just create a plugin. Folder, Flippy AI client tweaks. File Flippy AI client tweaks. Flippy. Okay, so let us client tweaks. Should by responsive mission network tab. Yeah, that's a good idea. I just want to see if this is a timeout issue. Okay. Just and also, hey, pseudo network, welcome to the chat. I'm terrible at greeting people that join, so I apologize for just being so flippant. Okay, so let's add the filter. And let's set it. Wide response image chain network tab. Let's check what that. Let's see if that does have anything. I'll have to rerun it. Okay, well, let's do that. There's the no, that's something else. Okay, let's do this. Let's start that up again. And let's take that out. Okay, so we've got what's happening. What are you complaining about? I just used a tab. Is it not tabbing? Oh, good grief. I don't know why my tabs are not tabbing. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it now. Okay, let's fill that up. Let's like that. So that should increase the timeout. Change this quickly. Okay. Yeah, mine have actually got it configured to something else. Okay. So I actually don't use VS Code, I use PHP Storm. So that's why I don't generally worry about it there. Okay. A custom WordPress style. Yeah, let's see what that does. $120 should be enough. Nope, it also breaks. Interesting. Anything in the debug log yet? Interessant. It's actually loading anything. Something's gone wonky somewhere. The fact that it kills the WordPress site as well. Now, let's see. Okay, so quick tag this time. Okay. Interesting. Oh, this is a socket hang up. This is a studio related issue, I reckon. Yeah, this is not related to the AI stuff. This is probably related to studio. Okay. So here's a question. Do I still have a window? I think I do. I think I've still got my other local development environment around. Let's have a look here. Yeah, I should do. Okay. So let's go. No, that's the wrong password. I've deleted it all, damn it. Okay. So I can't really test this. This is definitely related to a studio thing. I wonder, okay. I wonder if this will work in sandbox runtime. Let's try that. I'm going to make a note of this to log with the folks at studio. So this, I wasn't planning on doing this as part of the stream, but if you, in case you missed it, WordPress Studio recently released What's it now? I think it was 12. Introduced PHP runtime. I don't think it's the model. I think it's related to Studio. Because I'm using the PHP runtime, that's why I want to switch to Sandbox. Because that'll probably work. So let's switch this over to Sandbox, which is basically using Playground. And let's see. That would explain why the Studio site is crashing. Okay, let's go into post. Now this will be slower, but probably will work. So let's see. Okay, at least now I'm getting different errors. Operation too slow. Less than bytes in the last 30 seconds. Network error occurred. $0.12. Yeah, we've made 5 requests. Yeah, so we're definitely making requests. So it's definitely working. And I want to see if it's logged anything. No, it's not logged me any issues. Okay, I just want to try something else. Before I do that, I should check here. It's definitely return 20. Maybe it needs to be even longer. Let's try 240. Let's give it 4 minutes. I think the site probably hasn't crashed. Yeah, the site hasn't crashed. So that's a good first step. So that might just be a time limit issue. Let's see if 4 minutes is long enough. Does mean we have to sit and wait for 4 minutes. I might just want to go and have a look and see what the image generation is doing. That makes me feel like my request timeout is not working. Okay, I want to dig into this ability now. This is not where I wanted to go today, but this is where we're going. Abilities, image. Generate image. As far as I know, this client request timeout fixes that, but that's a valid point, Yanni. Hey, Yanni. I just want to see what this is using. Okay. So it's just using a general generate image. Generate image results. Yeah, so it's using the prompt builder. So it should... wait a minute. It looks like it's not using that filter. It's setting a timeout. So... it's using specific request options. So that timeout update that I'm doing is not working. Okay. There's a couple of things I could do here. Doesn't seem like it's running for 90 seconds though. Okay, I'm going to leave this alone. I'm going to maybe log this as a follow-up because I really don't have time to debug issues in a plugin that I didn't build. The goal here today was just to check out what's happening. So I'm going to make some more notes. So I'm going to just go to studio PHP times coming up, and then image generation seems to have a set timeout. I'll do some follow-ups after this. I'm not going to try and debug that code while we're here. Let's see if I can get something else to work. So let's see what other AI functionality this plugin has. Let's turn off images. So we've got content classification. AI-powered suggestions for post tags and categories based on content analysis requires an AI connector that includes support for text generation models. Okay, well, that should be an easy one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do an export of my personal blog posts. I think I have this lying around somewhere, but I just couldn't be bothered to go find it. So I'm trying to export my blog posts, and it's on my desktop somewhere. Then import this into my local site. Once this is done, I actually want to switch back to the PHP runtime. This is, okay, if anybody watching this wants to submit a fix to WordPress, this failed to import media error that comes up when you import. I specifically said I don't want to fetch attachments. So the fact that it's showing me this message in the first place, I think is daft. It should only show you this if you've selected to fetch attachments and it couldn't fetch one. So if anybody feels like fixing that in WordPress, please do. I might get around to submitting a patch for it one day. Today is not that day. But okay, let's go back to AI and let's enable content classification. Let's do a few. So there's content classification, and let's say suggest new terms because I won't have any. Well, I have terms. I have no idea. Let's have a look. Tags. Don't think I asked to import my tags. Oh, I did. It did import my tags. Okay. Let's go back then. So let's say suggest new terms based on context. Maximum 5 suggestions. That's fine. Let's enable content resizing. We'll test that as well. Can have some fun with excerpt generation. Alt text I'm going to leave out for now. Let's do summarization. Let's do title generation. And I'm not going to enable type ahead text just yet. So let's play around with those in a post. Okay. So let's start with content classification. So let's open up this one. And where would I find content? So there's generate summary. Okay, cool. Just remove the image. So there's categories. Okay, so we can suggest categories. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that works. So it suggests a bunch of categories that it could belong to. That's cool. Oh, it's actually, these are new categories. Okay. And let's go down to tags. Let's see what it does in terms of suggesting tags. Okay, so it looks like when you've got it set to new, it'll always suggest new terms. I would kind of like both, maybe. Like, if I suggest new terms, then also suggest, because, okay, so as an example, I wonder if, let's just untick these. Let's dismiss all of that. Save this. I want to see if it suggests development in general as well, with that setting enabled. Because I kind of would expect it to also, maybe I don't know. It looks like this only suggests new. I guess maybe that's my opinion, but I feel like if it was new terms based on content, it should also consider existing. But maybe that's a personal thing, so I don't know. Okay, that works pretty well. What I want to do now is I want to just quickly stop this site. Because now that I know this is a problem, I want to see if it still works. So let's close this. We're going to have to close that as well. Might as well close that. This we can close down now. Close down these. Okay. I'm one of those people who does not like multiple tabs. All right, so let's go back to the posts. So what were some of the other things that it did? Settings, AI. Oh, yes. Generate summary. So let's see what the summary generation does in PHP. I mean, using PHP runtime. Let's see if that works. Okay, that seems to work. Works pretty well. Happy with that. Okay, cool. I realized as well now I'm kind of just going through all of them, but I actually want to focus on some of the newer ones. So let's just see here. Fix the refresh button to the AI request logs. AI request logs? There's an AI request logs. Where's that? That would have been nice to have earlier. Where's the AI request logs? There's a logs table? What? Where? Where's the logs? How do I get the logs table? So admin AI request logs. How do I get that? Don't see anything about logging here. Oh, there. Okay. That's cool. So with that enabled, where do I see the logs? Maybe in a log file? View logs under tools. Oh. Oh. Cool. So there it actually shows that the request, most recent request there. Interesting. Could have used this earlier. Part of me kind of wants to go back and... Okay, part of me wants to go back and try that now. So, let's see. I just want to see what gets logged. Let's go back. So we're back on native. No, let's be back on sandbox because that one was working a little bit better. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we've got the logs enabled. So let's go back to posts. I just want to see if anything gets logged. Oh, I disabled imaging, didn't I? It probably won't get logged because the response won't come back. So somebody else mentioned about changing the model, so let me try that as well. Let's try image 1 mini. GPT image 2. Let's try the mini one. See if that's quicker. And then let's give it a much simpler image to generate. Let's go back to posts. Let's just give it a very simple image. So a child drawing a very simple outline of a house. So draw a child. Just want something basic. Shouldn't take long. And let's see if it can give us something. didn't start it up. Okay, that worked. Nice. So let's use that image. Okay. So it's possible it was model selection was an issue. That somebody else mentioned. Who mentioned that? Pseudo Network mentioned that, so it could be that. I would like to figure out like what the problem was, but I'm not going to spend time doing it now. But at least the image generation with a simple prompt and the MIDI model does work, so that's cool. I do want to follow up on that set timeout thing. And what I'll probably do, not today, is test different models. This was on the sandbox. So what I want to do now, I want to see how long that took. So that was 14 seconds. I wonder if it was the model was the problem. It's very possible. Interesting. So that actually brings up a very valid point. And the only reason I even know about the model selection options is because somebody was saying the other day that the default model tends to use a lot of tokens and therefore cost a lot. Something that I think would be nice. So if you use, like if you're using Copilot in VS Code, for example, when you select your model, maybe not here. It used to. It used to show you like what your sort of token cost was. I think Claude Code does it as well. So let me see here. So if we go into Claude, we select model. Then it actually showed. I used to. No, where am I? Oh, I know where I used to see it. It's not something that people make super obvious. It's almost like they don't want you to know how much you're spending. But in GitHub Copilot, they kind of are better at this. So if you have an issue that you're assigned to the Copilot agent, for example. So let me just do this. So let me just say test issue. When you assign the agent and you do your selection, they've removed it as well. Oh no, it's on the side. Okay, so you hover over it and you kind of get a feel of like what your cost per million tokens is. They've changed it though. It used to be like 1 times, 2 times, whatever. They've changed this whole user interface. So I kind of feel like it would be cool if we could somehow pull this in here so that people know what their costs are for the things. I guess the point is if you're experimenting with these things, you kind of need to play around with the different models. Like I don't know anything about these image models. Let me just see here. Let's just see GPT. It won't be listed there, will it? OpenAI image models. So you get image 1, latest is image 2. So that probably, yeah, I'd probably use that one. I wonder if we switch to image 2, whether it would be better. Okay, I know I'm getting stuck on this image thing, but I want to see, okay, what are we doing here? So we currently are on Sandbox. Okay, I want to switch to just, I need an image. I'm going to switch it to default, right? Switch that to default. And then I want to see what happens if we do the same house. So, oh, that's a cool little feature. It actually uses the prompt as the alternative text. That's actually pretty cool. Okay, so let's do this. Add after. Image. Generate image. Okay, let's see if this still breaks. Because if this still breaks, then it's probably got to do with the prompt that I sent it. It was just too complicated for it to handle. I still wonder about the 90-second timeout though. Why that's hard-coded. It'd be better if it used the filter. So I'm going to definitely raise that. Yeah, you see that worked. Okay. Could not insert into the database. Why? Interesting. What's going on there? Database disk image is malformed. Okay, this is probably because I'm in sandbox mode. Or am I? Yes, I am. Okay, let's switch this back to native and see. I'm having all kinds of fun fiddling around with just this image generation, I'll be honest with you. It's actually a bit stupid. Okay. Let's just cancel this and copy out this prompt. So I'm running the native PHP runtime now. So let's do the site. Let's go posts. I wonder if the problem is the fact that there's already an image like that. Let's make it a blue house. Actually, no, that's not. Let's just see if this gets added. Oh, I lost it. Dang it. Yeah, it failed. I wonder if that's because of the file name. You should probably find the name of the image is based on the prompt. Yeah, interesting. I feel like that's more of a studio issue than anything else. So I'm going to list that as well. What I do want to see is I want to see what happens if I generate something else. See if this works. Okay, so there's one other way to test this, and this is to do it from my personal site. So I'm going to do that now quickly. So OpenAI is connected. Okay, let's install the plugin. Okay, let's go to the media library. There's two generate image buttons. I must have multiple plugins installed that are doing that. Yeah, this is something else. Okay, that's fun. That's a WordPress.com jetpack thing. Okay. A simple child's drawing of the sun. Okay, let's generate that. Okay, let's see if we can save that. Yeah, so I feel like the issues I'm having are related to Studio. So okay, cool. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. I wonder if I should mention, because this is, I think, let's see here. This is the WordPress.com one, or Jetpack, one of the two. Yeah, so this is WordPress.com. So I have my site on Pressable, but it's connected to WordPress.com through Jetpack. I don't know who the best person is. I'm going to have to raise this. Let's take a screenshot of that. Okay. Moving along. Okay, so image generation works pretty well, depending on the circumstances. I like the AI request logs. I like the fact that that's included. I do wonder. Because it's had an abilities explorer, quite explicit administrator tool. Okay, comment moderation, and key encryption. I wonder where the abilities explorer is. Probably here. Yeah, here we go. I wonder if each of the abilities has its own time. No, the prompt builder timeout is set to 90. So that's across all abilities. I'm interested to know why that was used. Okay, so oh, this is just the prompt builder for the image. Hmm. I'm not sure myself. I wonder what would happen if I set this to 120. I wonder if it would work. I mean, it's only 30 seconds more. I feel like that's not the problem, because 90 seconds seems like a lot. Something else timed out somewhere. Just trying to understand code now. I have to figure out why that failed. Anywho, I've gone down a long, deep rabbit hole of AI plugin updates that I didn't actually want to go down today. Suffice to say, if you are using the plugin, I recommend enabling the logs, and then enabling the model. I do wonder why model selection is there, but we have admin experiments here. I guess there's a thought that in future there will be more developer tools. I think just having model selections switched on all the time is not a bad idea. But anyway, that's where it is if you want to use it. It's in this little developer tools menu item. You can enable model selection. Based on which models you have, which providers you have set up, you can choose which model to use. Yeah, I think I've got more questions now than when I started, so I'm going to probably call it a day here. I've got sort of 3 open questions around what things are doing and how they work. Specifically, image generation using custom timeout. It seems to be causing issues, so I kind of want to dive into that. Last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to switch to OpenAI. I'm going to switch to GPT Image 1. I'm going to see if that can handle the WAPU request. But media. Yeah, that definitely seems to break. I wonder what happens if I do this inside. ChatGPT. See if this can handle. So I kind of am interested to know why this is failing. Let's try Sandbox and see if that works. You know, the other option is to try this on my blog and see if that handles. So this is using OpenAI GPT image 1. Okay, let's just see here. And that's just using default. Okay, let's see what happens. This will probably work because this is on the cloud. Let's see. It is taking a heck of a long time, but it works. So it does work. So I feel like the issue is related to the studio environment. So I'm going to dive into that. I think what I'm going to need to do going forward if I'm testing these experiments is testing them on my site or a site, a live site. So I think I'm going to do that for future streams if I do any kind of testing. It does work, works pretty well. Save it to the library. I mean, that's a decent image. Curious to know what my credits look like now. Let's just go back here. So this is platform. What's my usage today? I've spent like 14 requests. Spent just short of $1. Weirdly, it doesn't actually show individual requests here, which is strange. Random. Okay, so I do feel like the issues that I'm having here are very much related to Studio, because I can get it working on my side without an issue. Yeah, so it's using GPT image 2. It's pretty cute. Even got the WordPress logo right. So, yeah. Okay. I'm going to pause that there. I had other plans for today. I ended up going down a rabbit hole of what the image generation does. I highly recommend, if you're interested in any of this AI stuff, that you help test the AI Experiments plugin, just purely from a what it does point of view, because some of these things might come to WordPress in the near future. So it'll be useful to have lots of people testing them. But that's going to be it for me for today, folks. I hope that if you're watching this, you've enjoyed my rambling journey through the AI plugin and trying it out in Studio. I will be doing this every Friday going forward at the same time, hopefully, unless something gets in the way. So if you have any ideas of things you want me to check out or dive into, let me know. Otherwise, that's it for me. I will see you next week. Bye.